Are we live?
Yeah, we are. In fact, we actually have a guest for the first time. Do you want to introduce him?
Yeah, guys, this is our buddy Ash. He is a friend of the podcast / becoming part of the podcast, helping us with all our audio issues, and was with us this weekend at Momocon.
Yeah,
doing a lot of video and technical stuff that Quinn and I are horrible at.
Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah. Definitely getting better slowly but surely.
Learning.
Yeah. And Ash has been helping with that a lot.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, bro. Glad to be here.
Cool. Yeah. It's
how'd you like Momocon?
Dude, so fun. I think, by the third day, it's pretty exhausting, just because of all the walking.
Yeah, 100%.
But I mean, it was so worth it to go the full 4 days and just get the whole experience, I think
all of us today, we were pretty good to leave whenever. Like, we got there, and I think we were all like, all right.
Yeah, after we did a walk around on the shopping, I was like, I'm
good.
I'm conned out. I'm conned out.
we were like, yeah, we're gonna interview people on the last day. And nobody said shit about it.
There wasn't as many people there. There wasn't as many people showing out in their cosplay as
100%. And that also shows you, like, we weren't the only ones feeling the stamina decay over the whole weekend. Like, everyone was ready to be done. I think most people want to go for the last day to go shop, go get stuff that they looked at all weekend and didn't buy. Maybe you get a better deal on it, which somebody bought some. No, we didn't actually buy anything today, did we? They had some decent deals, though. They were running decent deals, but you go online and it's
same price or better.
It's hard to
That's
beat
exactly why we didn't buy anything today.
Yeah, you start crunching numbers online and you're like, I could get 2 for the price of 1.
Or there was like, they had those like plexis that we bought, the plexi artwork, where it was like, you buy 4, you get 1 free, and then we go on their website, it's like you could basically buy 3 and get 1 free.
Yeah.
So it was like,
and that's how it's always been with online versus shopping in person. I'm all for supporting local business and stuff, and I like supporting the vendors because it's fun to go out and see those things, but
it's a convenience fee.
It definitely is, because like even just going online, you're still going to that artist's website and like you're still supporting them and spending the money on them,
100%. Why don't we
want to go day by day?
Let's go day by day. That's a good one. Or how about this, before we go day by day, what was your favorite? I'll ask both of you, and I'll answer too. Favorite cosplay? And I guess we don't count today because it was very chill. I mean, you can if you want. If your favorite was today.
Yeah, if it was really your favorite. I would say, Ash, I would let you answer that one first.
And let's tell the listeners. So day 1, we did Naruto. Day 2, we did Jujutsu Kaisen. And day 3, we did My Hero. And today, last day, these 2 guys did Blue Lock. I was going to do it, but it didn't fit, so I went with Haikyuu. But, so yeah, what's your favorite one?
I think mine is going to have to be JJK, Yuta.
Oh, really?
Just because, like, I did Sasuke Friday. I did Sasuke, like, the same cosplay before for AWA. So just doing something fresh, and like, we have this massive group of people that we went with. We were all doing JJK and just rocking it.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I feel like I look the most like Yuta when I cosplay. So it fit really well.
It's a natural fit.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters in anime that fit you very well. As far
I think
as,
so too. I was gonna say,
like you have a lot of cosplay options when it comes to anime, man. Like you got Sasuke, you got Yuta, you got Meguro Bachara, like you did today.
Oh yeah,
I think you could pull off Megami too.
Yeah, you could do Megami.
But the Yuta
easily.
does
might not be tall enough for Megami.
Well.
That's true. Megami is pretty decently tall. I mean, if you compare him to like Itadori and all the other characters in JJK,
you could go as Ollie Sykes.
Is that a cosplay? Does it count?
It should.
I thought cosplay was for anime, not for artists.
Well, he likes anime. That counts. Okay, all right. Anyways, Cool. So JJK day for you. So that was day 2. Quinn, how about you, man?
That's it's a little bit more difficult for me. To be honest, I'll probably say JJK as well.
Yeah.
It was not only the most comfortable, aside from the contacts, of course, but I felt that it looked the best out of all the ones that I had. The wig was on point. Everything else was on point. It was really nice. It was a good day. And like he said, we had a whole crew.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to have like everybody rolling deep, like 5, 6 people.
100% adds to it. We had so for listeners, we had 3 or 4 extra JJK folks. What was it? We had a Nanami, a Toji, a Choso, and a Geto. Yeah. So on top of us 3, we had 4 more, and
so we had 7
we
people.
were rolling deep.
Yeah.
And it does feel good. Like you just walk, you walk into a room and it's like, oh. Okay.
I think we took the most photos on that day too. I think we had the most approaches on like, hey, can we take photos with you guys on that
100%.
day as well? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Although we got some pretty good ones on the Naruto day.
Yeah,
that's also
true too.
day 1 energy. People are like going crazy.
Super high.
We had how many Akatsuki approached us on day 1?
How many what?
Akatsuki.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There's
there's a video coming of that too.
Yes,
by the way.
there's a video. The Akatsuki are deep at the cons, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're from the Leaf, just beware.
Well, the Akatsuki,
Be on the lookout.
The Akatsuki outfit, I think, is just kind of like the easy way to cosplay because you just put the cloak on and then put a headband on, and then you're an Akatsuki.
Convenience and fun, like combined.
Yeah,
because it's very easy to do, and you can get a lot of people in on it. And really, it's just like, oh, cool. Do you want to have a purple wig? Okay, cool. Now you're this character. Do you want to have orange wig? Okay, cool. You're this guy. Throw an arm in your cloak. All right, cool. You got your Itachi going. It's very easy to like this. You have these small distinctions between the characters.
I want to pose a question to both of you, actually. What cosplay do we think that we saw the most?
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's tough.
That's a great question. Just real quick before we jump to that, I'm gonna say my favorite was Kakashi. My as far as my cosplay, just 'cause I didn't answer yet.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you're
we
good. You're
jumped
good. Gojo's cool, but like the contacts and the lashes, everything combined.
There were a lot.
Although the Dobby was fun.
Dude, you killed Dobby.
Dobby looked
like
great,
you were literally a spitting image of Dobby.
I don't know if that's an insult. But I think I guess I was surprised at how fun it was doing Kakashi. And then, it could have been like day 1 hype and all that, but I don't know. It's really hard to choose. They're all very close. The Gojo one's just like not near the other 2 because it was miserable. But yeah, okay, let's go back to your question.
Yeah, so what cosplay do we think we saw the most?
Do you want to take this first, Ash?
There was a lot of League stuff.
Yeah, there was. And,
like I feel like
Genshin Impact, there was a ton of those people too.
Exactly. I feel like anytime we pass by someone,
like,
and because I don't play League, like I feel like anytime we pass by someone, and I was like, "Who? Like, what are these people watching? Who is that?" You guys would be like, "Oh, that's League. Like they're doing League skins."
Yeah.
Individually, I think I saw more Jinxes than I saw anything. Like there were so many Jinxes.
Ton of Jinx.
Yeah.
Which that's not singular to this con. That
a pretty common
that
one.
is wide. Yeah. A lot of people like doing her, which she has a really cool character design, so I get it. Let me think. What did I see the most? Gosh, and I mean there were a lot of Akatsuki, but not the most. There's a lot of JJK. I gotta say Geto's up there. If he's not at the top, he's top 3 that I saw the most of.
Geto was up there for sure.
Ton of people doing that. Not as many Gojos this year, actually, that I was expecting. At AWA, you were there. There were a ton of Gojos.
Yeah, they were everywhere.
I was surprised at how like the cool My Hero Academia.
Yeah, there were quite a few Bakugos.
Well, no, we ran into the Gentle, and
that's cool.
That combo. Which
what
we'll
is
have photos
what
of,
is the female character with the sniper?
La Brava. Oh no! Wait!
You're talking. That was the one with the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gentle.
Yeah. I was talking about Gentle and La Brava. What are you talking about? Sniper?
The chick that she like the sniper comes out of her elbow She was in season 6.
Oh,
She was like a vigilante type.
I can't
character.
remember her name right.
We saw one of her.
I do remember.
We got a good
her,
picture. Gosh, what was? I mean, so far for me, it's Geto. He's up there. Now I'm trying to think back over the whole weekend. There were actually quite a few Kakashis.
Yeah, there was a lot of gender swapping ones too, which was kind of cool to see.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Some cool gender swapping on a lot of characters, not just Kakashi, but like My Hero Academia characters and other. But yeah,
not a lot of Chainsaw Man this year.
That's true. We
yeah,
did see some.
dude. I feel like
Some.
at AWA there was
that was
so
the
much
most.
Chainsaw Man.
100%
So much.
was Chainsaw. Crazy amount.
Like every couple people you see, Chainsaw Man.
Mhm. Insane, dude.
Was that during the time period like when the new season was going out?
I guess
can't remember the time
earlier
period now.
that year was Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's
probably,
when
and then
it came
it was
out.
that October.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it was a little more fresh in people's minds. So
100%.
100%. See. Yeah.
I'll say to the question you posed, I'll say Geto for me. That's the one I'm replaying
the one that you
everything.
saw the most of. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Geto.
How about you?
I could see that. There were a lot of Ghetto. As far as like individual, I don't think there weren't enough that like stuck out to me that I kept seeing over and over again.
Mhm.
Because really, it was just seeing so many different people dressed up in
What
like
about
league costumes.
maybe not
and-
specific character, but like show?
I was gonna say like not even just show because the amount of like people we saw from like Genshin and League, like
Yeah,
that was
gaming
That's
was
gaming as well.
taking over.
Yeah.
If we were gonna talk about like show, to be honest, I think the one that I saw the most of a particular show, Demon Slayer. I saw
There were a lot of Demon Slayer,
many
dude. Yeah.
people with Demon Slayer outfits.
Yeah.
Tons of them, like, just
Yeah.
and
Even
just
A lot of Tanjiro.
Yeah.
A lot of Tanjiro. Yeah.
Rengoku,
Gyuko.
like there's so many
Yeah.
of Demon Slayer. out
Yeah.
there. Now there weren't like a ton of the same ones, but like on the daily we saw a Demon Slayer every single day. So if I were to pick one, I'm choosing Demon Slayer.
Demon
I think
Slayer.
that was the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I guess with me, I already said Geto, and I'm thinking back. I saw a lot of Sukunas. I'll go JJK because there was a ton of that. But I agree, there's still a ton of Demon Slayer as well.
Yeah, I would have to say Demon Slayer too, honestly, because that, after you said that, like thinking back, that definitely jumped out the most. Like all the Tanjiros I was seeing, and like, yeah, for sure.
I may be coming from like a biased perspective too, because when we went on, not like, when we went, was it Sunday or Saturday? They had a fan photo shoot, and I remember looking out in the courtyard of the building that the con was being held in, and there was like at least 50 something people all dressed out in Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Just for that one. And that was just one day. And I remember seeing them on previous days too. So I was like, holy crap, that's a huge crowd.
Yeah, that's a lot. Surprisingly, not a ton of One Piece. Normally, like, you see more. There was a lot of AWA, and there was a ton at Dragon Con.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot. I would say the most cosplayed One Piece character is Zoro. I did see a lot of Zoros at the con.
I saw a couple Luffy. That was,
which is super surprising.
Yeah, dude. I probably saw like 2 or 3 Luffy.
Yeah.
Like the whole entire weekend.
Because that one's very easy to do, and a lot of people just do it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those comfy, convenient cosplays.
Yeah.
And, whatever. Very likable character, I guess.
Not willing to suffer for their cosplays like we did.
right. Yeah, man. It was cool. What was the best cosplay you saw?
Oh, that's a hard one because there were so many cool ones. I would have to say probably the best one I saw was the I don't know Fallout well enough to know what the name of the actual suit is, but the giant suit of armor from Fallout.
Okay.
That guy who was decked out in the giant suit of armor taking photos.
To the right of us when we were doing the
when we were going in the
lobby.
main entrance, we saw that, and I was like, that's probably the craziest I saw there. There were some crazy ones, but that was probably the most intricate one that I saw. So
yeah. Gosh, I saw some really cool ones. There was a really clean Bakugo, that guy we tried to flag down.
yeah,
It was just really well done. Like no paint smears or anything. Like it perfectly crafted. Wherever you are, dude, good job. That was sick.
yeah.
That's the one that kind of comes to mind first.
I think for me, so there was a really good Sasuke that I saw. It was like a gender swap Sasuke.
With the wig.
Really, it was the wig, dude. It was so good. It's so hard to do the wigs. I think aside from that, which isn't even anime related, I saw like a group of Ghostbusters.
Oh
that was the lobby.
I saw
those were really cool, man.
Yep, I saw them too. They were really cool.
You just wig. You reminded me. There were a lot of clouds.
Yeah, you know what?
There were.
Now that you say that, I do remember that. Yeah, I think that was specifically on one day though, because I think they had a Final Fantasy shoot that day. Because I remember seeing a lot of clouds on.
Was
one
that Saturday?
Day. I think it was.
It was either Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun, man. So Momo 2024 in the books. Our first con, like really grouping up, going together.
Should we give it a hop score?
Let's give it a hop score, yeah. Gosh. So I think what we would do better next time is get the hotel room that's right there off of the Congress Center building. And then be able to enjoy the nightlife side of the con.
Yeah.
We didn't do that at all. We left late a few days.
I think the latest we left was like 8 o'clock or
8
something
o'clock,
like that.
yeah.
So we definitely didn't get any of the nighttime life that we should have, which it'll be a lot easier if we do the hotel.
Yeah. Which I would like to in December with AWA. I think that would be something cool. Y'all know I'm not a fan of Dragon Con. I'm going to go, but I don't want to go all out for it just because it's insane. But AWA is a lot smaller, a lot more homey, like could get the hotel room. And it's in the same building this year.
I think AWA would be great because when we went AWA last year, we stayed a little bit later. And just the amount of people that stayed just as late as we did, and like they had to have stayed later than we did. It was 100%. Still packed.
We left
when
and we were still dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But that's the cool thing about having the room. You don't have to worry about the stress of like we gotta catch an Uber home, or you gotta sober up and then go home, whatever. Like
you go upstairs, you take a nap, you relax for a couple hours.
So imagine that. Imagine you wake up Saturday morning, you're in the hotel room, you have breakfast, whatever. Like you go down, you hang out for a few hours, you're tired as shit, you go back up to the room. Couple hours to relax, whatever, to reset, to recharge.
Yep.
Then you go back out, right? So you do maybe you go back up to the room twice that day.
Yeah.
And then come 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, the parties are going, the raves are going, the music's going.
And they even have panels until like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. 100%.
So it would be more of like an all-inclusive experience instead of hey, we're just driving up to visit.
Yeah.
There is no going home doing all this stuff. Because I think we take for granted and we don't really think about like, oh, there's all this prep time that goes into the costume before you can even leave, which is insane. When we learned that, with the makeup, with the contacts, the hair, getting everyone ready, meeting up at the house, carpooling to the event, just kind of streamlines all that.
I would also say as like locals, because like I had to come down and fly down for this, like as like locals, it's probably you're thinking, oh, it's much easier and much cheaper for me to like stay at home. So like I'll just plan to stay at home at night. But then you miss like half of the event. Like if you're not staying later that night, then you're missing half of it,
So much of it. And gosh, I'm like beating myself up for not thinking about this because I don't know, I just didn't think about it. And I do feel like we missed, I would say, close to half of the event.
Yeah.
Just
probably, man. I feel like it gets pretty lit.
I mean, imagine
I'm just saying
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Let's say 1 and 2. Let's just say you stayed out till midnight. That's an extra 4 to 5 hours of the event each night. Let's say at least 3 nights out of the 4. That's like more than a day's worth of stuff going on.
It's like a whole extra day of the con.
Yeah.
So we know now. So we'll move forward with this knowledge.
Well, let's give it a score based on our experience so far. Right. I want to allow Ash the chance to go ahead and start with the score, and then we'll go from here.
I would like to do that too, but Ash, he may have looted something from one of the vendors that I'm looking at right now.
Oh yeah.
So I know he's quite happy with his purchase.
Oh yeah. You wanna show
for the listeners?
Oh,
what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking
Well,
about is a.
we do have some video. I will pull it up.
For anyone who's just listening, though, what we're showing is a image of a very
My God.
relatively scandalous photo of Power from Chainsaw Man. It's going to be his new art piece here in his home.
I had to, man. I saw it.
You did
like
have to.
we were looking around for the figures. You know, you guys were joking around that I couldn't really find an R-rated one. I didn't even really want an R-rated one. I just wanted one
I saw
with a
some
cool
wholesome
pose.
ones, and you were like, nah, not for me.
Scandalous.
But then I saw her R-rated, and I'm like, okay, that's not so good.
Maybe these guys are onto something. So,
Yeah.
what was you went with a Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I got a piece from the same artist, and it's Gon and Killua, which is badass looking for sure.
And the artist is Ozzy Oz on Instagram.
Ozzy Oz the virus. Ozzy Oz the virus.
Yeah, on Instagram. So go check him out. I ended up copying a Minato. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah. That
Dude,
Minato
so
one is
sick.
super
It's
sick.
so good.
Yeah, I just love the color scheme he went with, and he likes doing like a fusion of anime.
Yeah.
Like he'll mix some things together. We noticed like the Avatar one that had different Pokemon around him and an Appa, to represent the different elements. But then he was like throwing in some Naruto stuff in there and like Dragon Ball stuff. So it's just really, really cool, very artistic stylization of the pieces. But
And the edginess, dude. Like,
yeah,
like adding tattoos, like full
For sure.
sleeves to some of these
Power
characters.
has a Denji tattoo. With the kitty cat.
So cool.
But yeah, so we're gonna hop score, rate the whole event weekend.
Yep.
What you got? 0 to 10.
And you can do decimal points. So.
Yes, yeah, we're fraction bros.
All right, I would say a 7.2.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay. Why are you
I-
shifting from 7.2 to 7.5?
It's the
Okay.
it was the power piece. I see. That's why. Why I saw. That's why
It gives a little
I
boost,
took
for
us
sure.
down that little alleyway before he voted because I knew that was gonna sway his number.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
It
So
definitely
what were
does.
like some of the positives and what were some of the negatives about it?
I think, some of the positives, like the shopping, insane. Like so many different aisles, so many different booths set up. Just a ton of stuff to look. I mean, we spent hours down there just walking around looking at different stuff. The shopping was really cool. I think it's kind of a pro and a con. The venue was massive, like huge venue. So it's a
Absolutely.
lot of walking, but there's like so much, so many different areas to check out, so many different people
You
to
just want
see.
more time to be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think really like I said, that works as a pro and a con. I think the only other con would be like access to food.
Yeah, that's going to be what affects my score the most.
Oh, for sure. Me too.
Yeah, it was
Me too.
horrible.
It was bad.
Yeah,
Ass cheeks.
Yeah, the food selection was absolute garbage.
Terrible.
like $32 for
For,
2 tacos and
Two pieces
4.
of rice.
Two tiny little grains.
You get 1 grain, buddy. $13.
That'll be $84.
Okay. You want me to go next, Quinn?
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you go ahead and I'll give mine last.
Yeah. I'm going to go mid 7s as well. And to be specific, I'm going to go 7.5 too. And I think so same points you just hit. I'm not gonna go back over those. I agree with those points. I will add on to that. I think my score would probably be an 8.5 if we had booked a hotel and stayed the night. So it's not anything against the con itself. It's more of indecision early on to do it on our part. My part, I take blame for that because I feel like I was in charge of getting a hotel, but
Yeah.
so I definitely was. But I think that changes how, because we missed the nightlife.
Yeah, the overall experience does change if you're there.
Yes, we missed the nightlife, and we kind of put the daytime time that we did have there in a box where it wouldn't have to be so constrained.
if we had the nighttime to consider as well.
And like, let's say we're all three together, and you are like, "Hey, man, I'm just super tired. Like, I'm gonna kick it in the hotel
take
for
a relaxing time." Yeah,
we don't have to be, all right, cool, we'll leave and come back. Like,
yeah,
just ping me, you know, when you're back. Or, hey, you know what? I'll see you up there in probably like an hour.
Yeah.
Right? So 7.5 for me, 8.5 if we booked the hotel. All right. What you got, Quinn?
I was actually going to go with his original answer, which was going to be like a 7.2. And I'm still going to stick with that, to be honest, because for me, the biggest problem is
it was those pot stickers they got to you.
It was the food. The food was the food was the worst part. Also, the management of how they like managed the traffic was really annoying too. Like they would shut down escalators and stairways and stuff and redirect traffic in insane ways and just made it felt so much more congested than it needed to be in a lot of times.
Not a lot of good signs pointing, hey, we're like, go here, do this here. Like I know day one we stood in line for probably 20 minutes before we realized that we were in the right line. Thankfully.
Yeah.
We didn't know. People walking around with bullhorns that didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I'm not actually even trying to count that against my score because when you order the ticket, we had the option of like having it mailed to us. And if we had it mailed to us, we would have skipped that line entirely. There's that option. That was our own stupidity of just not doing that.
Yeah. Same thing with the hotel.
So I don't count that against the con. Like there are other things that I think were like problems. Like another thing, the alcohol situation. Like there was barely any selection. Why didn't they have more people in there where and you don't have to have anything crazy, just have like a selection of ciders, maybe some wine and some beer. They have one spot inside the building. And then if you want to go anywhere other than that spot, you got to go over to the hotel.
Yeah. It didn't seem like, I think the lady or the bartender, she was saying no liquor or something. Like she was only handing out beer and wine. I think they did have wine, but maybe not a big selection.
They didn't. They did not have a big selection of anything.
Okay.
There.
Yeah. So maybe just like, maybe you don't have to have a liquor license.
No,
but
beer and wine would be fine. Like get some ciders, get some beer, get some wine, put them down next to where all the other food vendors are. Like all the best food vendors were down there where all the actual shopping was.
Yeah.
And I say you just put up a couple stands down there and bam, you're good to go. That would have brought my score up to probably where you guys are at. So 7.5.
Yeah. Cool. So 7.2, 7.5, 7.5. So we're
7.4 average, I would say, roughly.
7.4. That feels fair. A little closer to 5 than to 2. Okay.
It should be because we're averaging out the 3.
Hold on. I might have to shave off 3 more points for the dumplings.
Wait. Are you starting to agree with me?
For the dumplings.
You mean the rubber ass pot stickers?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're agreeing the food was bad enough to where you're going to shave it back down to 7.2?
See, I didn't get the pot stickers, so it makes sense that I would still maybe be a few points higher than you.
I think I have to, man. Honestly, I think
sounds so petty, but
getting the power, but those pot stickers.
But for anyone listening,
horrible.
They should get an honest and fair review. So let's be
I guarantee
real.
you, there are people that are going to listen and be like, I know exactly where you got those from.
I'd shoot on those pot stickers until I had to spit them out.
Those pot stickers came with cardboard on them because they were stuck to the bottom of them.
Yeah, I would say Momocon. You know, whoever's in charge of hiring on the vendors, do not hire on that pot sticker, pretend rice bowl, plastic taco vendor.
I would actually also say
don't hire them back.
I would actually also say it would be better if they would do like a food truck situation outside. Like towards
that would be awesome.
That's a good idea.
You know, that front lane,
that front area, like during the con, get a whole bunch of food trucks out there. And then, bam, you solve the issue.
I wonder if there's some sort of rule because the CNN building is right there. I wonder if they don't allow that.
Maybe.
Because that would be super... It's almost too convenient.
It would
make too much sense.
It would, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things in this world that make too much sense.
I agree.
I mean, really, it's just the ease of access because they, like, you go across the street to that like corridor that we were going to.
Yeah,
they have, like, Subway. They have, like, all these other places you can eat at, but it's like, are we really going to take an hour to walk all the way over there,
wait
get
on
the
your
food, sit down and eat, and then walk all the way back to the con? You're losing like over an hour there.
Whereas you walk up to the food truck, 10, 15,
right there
20 minutes, you've got your food, and then you're eating at the entrance. You throw your trash away, you're back into everything.
Yeah.
Instantly. Yeah.
That's what I would say. I mean, because I do understand, like, the food vendors inside, they can only take what's already pre-made.
You're,
they can't cook
you're
inside.
almost talking me
yeah.
down to a 7.2 at this point. I mean, you presented the facts. It's there. The evidence is there. I'll go. I would not be upset if I went down. I'm gonna go to 7.2.
Okay.
I'll meet you there.
Are we all at 7.2 then?
I think we got a
Okay.
total
We'll go back.
7.2.
We'll go back.
Locked in.
Yeah, and it's because of the food.
The
Damn
food
it.
was just absolute dog shit. It was just
Horrible.
so bad. It was so bad.
Everything else, awesome.
Yeah.
Super fun event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Much better than Dragon Con. Jesus, so much better.
Yep.
Dang, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'm looking forward to the next time we can do all this. And I think
Same.
December is especially like as far as like a big group going. I think that's far enough away where we can really try to plan that out. And it's a small event. It's something that we could get a hotel for and maybe have a little more.
I think also having AWA in December.
You can
It's
do
cold
the
out.
Yeah,
You're cosplaying.
yeah. You're not gonna be sweating.
It's going to be so comfortable. Like
Yeah.
that was the only other thing about Momocon, which I get it. You got to plan it when you can, but
Right.
so hot, dude.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, imagine Georgia in September, Dragon Con. I mean, it's insane.
yeah.
It's miserable.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, not doing that.
No, I don't do it. I'm going, but I'm not. If I do anything, I'm throwing a Hokage cloak on, and I'm calling it a day. I'm wearing swimmies and a Hokage
Or
cloak.
some haiku stuff, or
Or that. I mean, hell, I don't want to wear a shirt. So if I don't have to, I'm not going to. But yeah, man. Oh,
maybe doing a Nosuke. There you go. Go shirtless
yeah.
with that one. But it would be really hot in that hood.
I might. pass
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And that giant boar's head. You'd be-
I'm gonna be horizontal on the sidewalk.
Actually, if you get real crafty, you could put a fan in that boar's head and it'd be
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Oh, there you
Okay.
go. And one of the misters.
I might have to hire on one of those
Professional cosplayers.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
Well,
get
so the
pictures.
official hop score, 7.2.
Yeah. We'll lock it in.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
It's locked in. There's no changing it now. Let's do it. All right, boys. I mean, Kaiju has been ramping, right?
Yeah.
It's only been getting better.
Oh, yeah.
This was arguably the coolest episode so far this season.
Ooh, it's up there.
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah.
So, does anyone have any like important notes, like anything you want to start off with for this one?
I want to give Ash a chance to start with that one because I've got some notes, but I want to give him a chance. I want to hear his thoughts first.
Yeah, is there anything maybe that like favorite moment of the episode or anything that stuck out or
Just the action.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
For one, I think for me, Kafka, he's just one of those characters that does not seem like a main character. Like he should not have been the main character, but he is.
Mhm.
And
I'm so happy too that he is.
oh my god, dude, just dad vibes. Like you are not that guy, but you are that guy.
We're all either 30 or cresting it, and I think that's why it's so relatable.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, last week when he climbed down that building slowly.
Oh my god,
It's
dude, that was one of the
most
greatest
epic,
scenes.
funny
Like,
moments.
let's
of
go.
that
We're
entire
gonna do
thing.
this. Slowly climb down.
I think probably the best scene in this episode for me was when Kafka showed up behind this other humanoid kaiju and just punched him straight in the face, and he just goes flying. And this other humanoid kaiju is just like, wait, why am I
seeing
looking at my torso?
Yeah,
upside down?
yeah.
It's like,
Well, yeah, and so I mean, first thought on that is this guy's not expecting Kafka to have that level of power.
No, he wasn't ready.
He was not
He
ready.
wasn't ready.
Kevin Hart was not ready. No. Like he was not ready, and Kafka proceeded to show him up even more. Like, oh, you thought that was it, and then gave him a little bit more. Sent him like halfway through the city. It looked like.
oh my god, yeah.
So we're jumping ahead with that,
just
right?
a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. So
which was a sick point and probably a highlight of the episode.
absolutely, yeah.
But let's backtrack a little bit. Let's go back to Reno. at the beginning, right?
And Iharu, yeah.
Yeah. So what you got? You got notes on that?
I was just gonna say I was gonna talk about Kaiju number 9, but I was gonna talk about how the fight between Iharu and Ichikawa, just them. We got to finally see. We said in the last podcast, we were like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool if they had some different ammo aside from like the ice? Like we were like, oh yeah, Ichikawa's using ice. Like that's really cool. I wonder what other types that they have. We got to see another one. Iharu used what was it, like some sort of round. Some sort of conductor round.
It looked like, so it was electrical charge, but it looked like it was like maybe slowing him down, or like kind of maybe
almost like a magnetic pull to the ground or something like that. Yeah.
It reminded me of Infinity War, where Star-Lord, I think, had one of those types of rounds where it like magnetized you to an area.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was that was the vibe I got from it. But yeah, super sick. Got to see another type of ammo, which is cool because, you know, we're trying to figure out like what's the power scaling look like in this anime? Like what does it look like when these guys develop like a fighting style? Well, that's part of it. It's like, okay, well, maybe you realize your techniques, your ability that you have is better with a certain type of ammo.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So yeah, got to see another one of those and got to see the connection between these two characters build even more. Mm-hmm. Like it's like a pretty cool competition, but almost like, there's almost like a brotherly, you know, kind of a bond there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to see the show building on these relationships. So.
It actually reminds me, and I think both of you have been watching Black Clover. It reminds me a lot of like the kind of competition between Asta and Yuno in that series.
Yeah, for sure.
I find that like Yuno often tries to act cool, but he knows that he is trying to like push Asta, which I love a lot. And I feel like that's kind of the relationship that we're going to see here with Iharu and Ichikawa.
Yeah.
So I am excited, but it was crazy to see both of them just get lit with holes in them.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Do you have any points on that? Because I mean, I'm watching him get shot, and like he kind of should be dead.
Oh, for sure. Especially when Kaiju number 9 is like standing over him.
Yeah, it
just
kept
shooting him in the back. Yeah, and he sits up, and it's just like spitting blood out of his mouth. I was like, dude, you should be gone.
Did you guys think for a second like we might lose a character early on?
I didn't think we would lose Ichikawa just because he is the deuteragonist, so like I kind of felt like there was some sort of plot armor that was going to come in, and then they used the chance to bring in Iharu and just save him.
They did, and they were making note of like using the suit's power to like stanch the bleeding, basically, like to kind of like basically plug the holes.
Yeah, which we saw with Kikuru and Kaiju number 9 first hit, because she got blown through with holes too. So.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, I wonder too, like, you know, you're saying he's the deuteragonist, like no way he dies yet. I wonder when is the bar going to be set again for, well, nobody's safe. You know, like Game of Thrones came in and did that with television, and you have a lot of other anime that are building up characters and just getting rid of. I mean, we watched Shibuya this past year, and you know what I'm saying. So, like, what do you think the bar is? Like, when do we evolve to the next level again and start wiping people out? Like, I don't really ever think anyone's safe.
So here's a question I'll pose to both of you. Do you think that, so there are animes where we actually see characters die on a relatively regular basis. Mm-hmm. Sometimes larger characters, sometimes more side characters. We see more blood, we see more death. Do we think that this anime is going to be on the lines of something like AOT, where we're going to see people just getting destroyed all the time? Or is this going to be something more like Black Clover, where you think people are going to die, but no one ever really dies for the most part?
I would say for me, I prefer the AOT style, but I would be fine with something not as extreme, just a little less so. I definitely prefer that over you thinking someone's going to get killed off and they don't, and then they just, that keeps happening, and then you're in the final season of the show and like none of the main cast are gone. To me, that doesn't feel good. There needs, like, high stakes make a show.
Yeah.
Because it provokes emotion.
Yeah.
So I would rather it be closer to that AOT style.
And how do
but
you?
it doesn't have to be that extreme.
How do you feel about it?
I really think there's a fine line, and I think with a show like Black Clover where literally no one ever dies, and I love Black Clover. I think it's got great humor, character development, but for me, I think there has to be a fine line, and crossing over that line towards more character death, I would almost prefer that. Like, I think, like you said, it invokes emotion.
Mm-hmm.
They build up this character, you get super attached, and then they go out a certain way. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know? Like, how could that happen?
It's memorable.
Yeah. The right character death can really, really push the story forward, especially for other character growth.
For sure.
Yes. 100%. I agree with that.
It's all about timing, placement, and how it happens, and that can really push a lot of character development and growth throughout the series. And I think that, one of the things that we're kind of like going off topic because we keep referring back to Black Clover. But that's one thing that I kind of hope that Kaiju adopts is one thing that Black Clover does get right is they do really good on how they develop a lot of their characters. But the one thing they get wrong is they don't take the time to act. Like, they do a lot of fake deaths. Like, oh, we think this person's dead, but they're not actually dead. I just hope that they don't fall into that trap where it's like you can see character growth already in Kaiju, but what they really, really need is they do need that kind of like heartstring pulling. The comedy is good, but you do need those serious moments, and I think we're going to get it. We just haven't quite seen quite that yet. So
I really hope so. It just adds to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna keep this Kaiju related. Favorite character so far? Do we have any?
Oh man,
do we have any favorites? Like it can change. This can change, but like currently, where are you sitting, Quinn?
Vice Captain Hoshino.
Okay.
I love that man so much.
Okay, we will. I guess maybe we should ask this at the end of the review because we'll get to that. Ash, what you got?
Okay.
Dude, I have to say Kafka.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, he's one of those main characters that should not have been the main character, but that's why I love him so much.
Yeah.
Like it's hilarious. Like, everything he does is just hilarious, but then he also has those really serious moments like we saw in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I love his character.
Actually, I want to dive deeper into those serious moments because where we just left off from in the battle with Kaiju number 9, after Ichikawa and Iharu got their asses whooped, we got to see the serious side of Kafka come in and save Ichikawa and Iharu, where he comes in, gently grabs Ichikawa, sets him back down, and basically tells him, I got you. And we got to see a little bit of like Ichikawa feel a little defeated there because he was like, his goal was to be strong enough so that Kafka...
He didn't have to transform.
Yeah.
Well, it was cool too to see Kafka come in. He like laid Buddy out. I don't think Kafka even thought like, oh, I dealt with that. That wasn't on his mind.
Not at all.
He was, let me get to my boy and make sure he's good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he got him far enough away to where, cool, I'm getting to my boy to get him out of here.
Yeah.
That was he was already picking him up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really cool decision as far as like story goes.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, oh cool, now I'm bloodthirsty. I'm gonna keep going after this guy until he's gone, beating him to a pulp. It's like, no, I sent him that way. Let me get to my boy, make sure he's okay.
Yep. That was his first priority. Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Next up, I say, did we say it was going to be Demon Slayer, right? Oh, no, My Hero. Yep, yeah, so we're going to go My Hero now. Yeah, a little bit slower. This episode was definitely more of a setup episode. I'll have to say, it's not my favorite episode so far this season.
No.
It's probably going to get the lowest score for me at the end when we finish the review, of course. But I do like it. It's
building.
Yeah, it's building. I just felt like it was more of like trying to capture each individual character's emotions in this moment rather than expanding more on like what's actually happening.
Which they did
world.
right at the end. They were like, here's the plans for what's happening. And like, and then they were throwing it up on the board. Well, they were like, we got to get Shigaraki away from all for one, right? And so they're like, okay, here's the plans, and then like, okay, but Dobby's gonna come in with the full force, so we gotta do something about that. Like that was the only point in the show in this episode where they started
a little bit
discussing here's what's gotta happen. So hopefully next episode they start putting in work.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully.
I don't have a lot to say about this episode personally. I don't care for navel laser. Old tummy pain. I don't. I personally
speak for us all.
Yes, I speak for the whole podcast. It's not something I care about, so it's hard for me to be invested. Now, look. I know, but like you were, and like Deku's doing his Chrono Jutsu, and he's like, no, but like we got you, dude. I get it. It's just not for me.
I understand why you wouldn't really care for naval laser, but I do think as far as like a plot element for use with Deku, I think he's a good character.
Yeah, good idea.
Sense.
Yeah,
I would just. Prefer it to be a different.
Do you
character.
feel like naval laser is like just a waste of a character?
No, I definitely don't think he's a waste. I mean, I think in some of the earlier seasons, he definitely showed some comedy at least. Like anytime he was on screen, funny. I'm like dying laughing.
Well, and to be fair,
at the very least,
Quinn, you made a good point about naval laser showing early on that he was like hurting from his quirk, much like Deku does.
Yeah,
because
that is true.
Because we didn't know at that point that he wasn't born with it, right?
Yeah.
At least that's my memory, is that we didn't know that he was born with that quirk.
No.
So maybe that's just something as far as like an audience watching, like, okay, I just didn't pick up on that. Because he's so goofy, I'm like, there's no way this guy is tying in deeper plots to this character. No shot that he's doing this. Well, I was wrong. He 100% did that. Which, okay, cool. I can take that for what it is. I just don't want to spend a lot of time on it.
Yeah.
It didn't need an additional episode. I think what we got last episode was plenty.
Well, I didn't feel like this entire episode was an additional episode on him. Hey, look. All right, we're going to get into some differences here. This may be one of our biggest disagreements thus far.
I just wish they had just get the ball rolling again.
Look, okay, so the reason I say I don't feel like this episode was another like another episode on him was because I don't think it's fair to say this episode was about him when they used the first 5 minutes to rehash the same thing that happened in the previous episode.
Which was about him, unfortunately.
Yes, unfortunately. So, but this is a common practice in all anime where...
Stop it.
Yes.
Stop it. Get some help.
We don't need a recap, all right?
We don't. Oh, we remember. We just watched it 5 minutes ago.
But yeah, so once you get past the same parts that happened in the previous episode, there's really not too much about Aoyama. You got the very end with Eraserhead, where he's sitting there trying to pull him out of his fear, which I thought was a good scene.
I like Eraserhead, so
I did think that was actually a really good scene between them.
Yeah, no, it was good. I mean, and Eraserhead coming back on screen is cool.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the more liked characters in the show. What did Deku and Ingenium? They went to get armor upgrades.
That was the funniest freaking part of this whole episode.
Why did they keep the face animation?
That was the funniest.
For so long.
You look like a sphincter, bro. You look like a sphincter. Can we get back to normal? And then it popped out.
Yeah, I was about to say, just pop back out.
Yep. While they're sitting there, getting instructions, yes. Oh yeah, we're just gonna But I will say, I told Callie that this episode was nice because it hasn't had a lot of comedy recently.
Yeah.
And that one scene just sprinkled in a little bit of comedy.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Do you think they're giving us a little bit because it's about to just get really bad?
I hope so, man. And I think it honestly, this episode for me was just very boring. Ton of dialogue, but I'm kind of trying to give it some grace because they came in so heavy.
They did.
The first couple episodes of this season.
What is this? 3 or 4?
This is the 4th episode.
4? Okay. Yeah. Episode 1 and 2 were bangers. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Grace can be given, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
aside from kind of what we've already covered with this one, there really wasn't much to talk about this. They did the Kryno Jutsu trying to save Ayama. You had their scene with Eraserhead at the end with Ayama.
Yeah.
And then you had them slightly explain kind of where their thought process with the plan was, but they didn't really go into details, which they did a good job of this episode of being like, we're not going to tell you the whole plan. We're just going to give you a little bit of an inkling of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I would say I think I'm ready to score it.
Score me up, bro. You go.
I gave the Stars and Stripes episodes a pretty high score, and this
8.9, I think, is what you rated.
I don't know if I went that high, but
that was episode 2.
I might have gone that high. I can't remember.
That's you rated one episode that high. You were up there.
It was really high.
Was a good
I
episode.
did love the Stars and Stripes episode. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
You were in your fifis. It was that one.
Yeah, that one did make me cry a little bit. I'll say this one. I don't think it's gonna get. For me, I'll probably say it's like a 5.9. I just didn't feel like there was enough to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It felt a lot of like the same thing
Yeah.
as it was last episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's my score, 5.9.
I am at most a 5, so I'll go 5. 5.0.
Jeez, he always
I think I'm
makes
even
me-
lower than that.
And
I think I'm
See,
at, like,
I was about to say he always makes me feel bad when I go as high and he goes
No,
lower than me.
and now he's about to undercut me. So keep that in mind.
I think I'm going to be at like a 4.7.
Oh damn!
It just, it just felt like, oh, let's fill out some time. To me, it felt like a very bland
I think
episode.
they could have jumped into that plan making sooner, like halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
Start planning for the next thing. At least start getting me hype.
I'm listening to both of you explain this, and I want to change my score now because you're right. I feel like it was a little bit more of a wasted episode. They could have at least gone into a little bit more detail of the plan itself.
Yeah. That's why I don't want to vote first ever again.
God, you're gonna vote first sometimes, so you're gonna have to get over that shit. I'll say I'll get a little bit closer. I'll do 5.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say we're probably at 4.9.
What was your score?
Yeah, 4.7.
4.7.
5.0.
5.0. Yeah, I'd
So
say
4.9.
4.9. Yeah,
Yeah.
4.9 is probably
That's
around
fair.
where we need to be at.
4.9. Perfect. Gosh. All right. Well,
Now we got to do.
now with that, I would say it's low. I'm expecting the next few episodes to be pretty good. So yes, let's jump on to the next thing.
Demon Slayer.
Season 4, right? 5. Season 5? Gosh, I don't even know which one it is. I know it's the training arc. Don't know which number it is. Okay, so let's say, Ash, did you read this arc? Did you read the manga for this?
No.
No. Okay. So Quinn and I did.
Yeah, and
This
one of our biggest
episode-
fears for this season
Lack of content.
was lack of content
it
because this
seems
arc is
like-
so short.
Yeah, I remember talking to you about this.
I mean, this should have been a total of like 3 to 4 episodes
from
for manga only.
from the manga only content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3-4 episodes.
So-
tops. You could have done a movie and it would have been done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like episode 1, which had a lot of anime only filler, this episode was primarily filler, right? It was
Yeah,
anime.
well, it was
and
anime
I guess I'm not
only
even going to
content,
say filler, but like, because I feel like it does add on to the story. It's cool. It elaborates on plots that
Yeah.
happen.
Before we get too deep into like manga versus anime, because we've read it, I'd actually be interested to hear his thoughts on the episode because since he hasn't read the manga,
Yeah.
we're already a little bit posed to be biased about
True.
it.
Good
So
point.
I'm interested to hear like from your perspective, what did you think of the episode overall? You don't have to give a score yet, obviously, but like in comparison to like previous seasons, the previous episodes, everything, where are you at on this episode?
I would say not as bad as My Hero.
Okay,
But
that's a
I still
bar.
feel like there wasn't really a lot going on. I mean, I love seeing the training,
yeah.
and when when they take Tanjiro's shirt off and he's running
he's
in front of these other people,
He's jacked.
he's insanely jacked. It gives me a little bit of hope, honestly, because he's a pretty short dude and he's
I want to be
insanely
jacked.
ripped.
It's actually easier for shorter guys to get jacked than it is for taller guys.
So,
or at least to look jacked. The perception of jack is more attainable for shorter guys. All right, cool. I like that you brought that up. Tanjiro is on a cycle.
Yeah,
is what it looks like. So
man's taking
that's
some sort of trend for sure.
And he was completely outworking all of these other guys, which obviously we didn't think there was any competition, but it was just shown on screen. Now.
Well, and that's what was kind of nice about this episode was in the manga, the time period where this happens, where he trains with Tengen and that group, it is literally like
2 pages,
like 1.5 pages. It's not even 2 full pages. He starts the Hashira training with Tengen, and then basically the next page it says 10 days later he was able to move on
like
from Tengen's
like
training.
6 to 7 panels.
That's it. That's all. That's all you get. So, and that was part of our question before, was we were saying like, how are they going to get 8 full episodes out of this? Why didn't they just do a movie like they did previously?
Right. So the studio was like, well, we got to figure out where to elaborate. Why not on Tengen and his 3 wives?
Yep.
And which I agree.
And
more, please.
And this is where
more
I would
3
say
wives content.
The studio is actually doing a decent job at they didn't really like expand the world, but they did they did do a good job of kind of showing how the characters affect each other a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. It didn't give me what we have been asking for, which is like more world building, more like filler of like, hey, let's find out some more about the world, more about the backgrounds of the characters. Whereas in this, you kind of see the same characters that you've seen before. They're resolving issues from the past, and then they're moving forward in their training. It's great. It's good.
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say about this episode that I did like above all else is continuation of the anime-only content from the first episode. So in the beginning of the first episode, the like
wind and serpent,
the castle, shrine, house, whatever you want to call that place that they went to, temple, where they saw the inside of like
castle.
The Infinity Castle. When they saw that was anime only too. That was not in the manga.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was anime only. I love what they're doing with kind of sprinkling in the Infinity Castle stuff, also with giving us a little bit hint of the danger of the demons, like we did with the Eye of the Upper Four.
New, by the way, new Upper Four.
Yeah, the new Upper Four.
Because Upper Four was killed in the Swordsmith arc.
Yeah, so that's anime only content too. That was not in the manga.
That's pretty crazy. I really like that scene a lot.
Yeah.
And I can't believe that's not in the manga.
No, it's good. And also the whole castle thing and it playing on the Wind Hashira's mind. Like he's like, I keep going back there to see if it's there again. Because I don't understand.
They must have some sort of hideout we don't know about.
Yeah. So much like you're saying, building on what they've already established, it's just good storytelling.
Yeah.
It's good pacing. So I totally agree. I'm not gonna let my wife joke go unheard though. If you're gonna elaborate on some anime only, give me more of Tengen and his 3 wives. I think that's a great plot element to expand on. No, it's cool. I like Tengen, man. I'm glad that he's here, even if he's just training.
Yeah,
he's just a cool character. So good to see more of him. But honestly, not too much to talk about.
Yeah, they trained. The other nice thing that I liked too was them using Tengen and Tanjiro to kind of bring up the spirits of the other Demon Corps trainees. The fight at the end, where they're like at the end, he decided he knew. To me, like we knew that Tanjiro was going to move on because of the manga and everything.
Sure.
That was a good ad, in my opinion, in the same way that when we talked about like Avatar, and when they did the live action with Zuko.
I have a note on this, by the way. So keep going.
I liked that ad because it was like, I think Tengen could see that these guys were starting to feel like they were beat down during the training, and this was a way for them to show like, hey,
inspiration,
there's some sort of hope.
Yeah. So to elaborate further, because I have read the full manga. And this is not a spoiler. That is a sprinkle of a touch for some later on stuff, which is really cool.
Okay.
So that is a good thing that is going to come full circle.
Okay, cool.
So I'm glad they added it in because it is going to be important and it's really cool. You know, with these guys saying like, well, we can't do it, but like we can help you do it.
Yep.
That's cool shit that's going to come up.
Yeah.
Like there's some cool moments with these guys that are training now that it's going to pay off.
Yep.
So yeah, cool stuff. That's not really a spoiler. I guess maybe it's a tiny mild spoiler, but.
Yep. So I'm good with scoring this one, but I want to go ahead and let Ash score this one because I think we've
both gone first.
Yeah, I think we've both.
Yeah,
gone
man.
already, so
you're on the chopping block.
We'll let you on the chopping block. Welcome to
tough,
the guillotine.
man. I think, like I said, I did My Hero pretty low because I think it was a
you can't go lower.
Pretty
than that.
bland episode.
Well, I mean, you can, but I don't think this episode is worth it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't elicit that. I definitely think for this episode, I would go 5.8.
Ooh. Okay.
It showed some good scenes.
Okay.
You know, and it did. I mean, it was anime only, but from what you're saying, like it has pushed the story along a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say 5.8.
Yeah. Do I get to go last?
Yeah, I'll let you go last. That's fine.
He said,
to be honest, I'm actually surprised by that because I was going to give this one a 6.1 because I actually really enjoyed the anime-only content. It wasn't what I've been asking for, but it wasn't crap. It wasn't garbage.
Yeah.
It was good.
No, it wasn't.
It was good anime-only content. And I appreciated them actually just expanding on it. It didn't feel the way that like My Hero did. With My Hero, it kind of just felt like a repeat of the same thing.
Yeah.
This it felt like it was really thought out.
Yeah.
So I will give it a 6.1. I know it's a little bit lower than some of the other stuff, but it's still slow. That's the only downside.
Yeah,
It is
for
still
sure.
slow.
6.1 and a 5.8?
Mm-hmm.
Man. I was going to go 5.5.
Oh, dang.
So
okay.
I'm definitely lower.
I told you, he always makes me feel bad.
No. To be honest, I really thought you were going to, I thought I was going to be above you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought I was going to be above you. I'm going to go 5.5 because like to me 5 is kind of the baseline of like it was a not a bad episode.
Yeah.
So I'm going a little above that.
Yeah.
So but you know
fair.
5.5 is by no means it was not a bad episode. Just
Not a banger.
not a lot going on to me, you know, and to me when you get in those the 8s, 9s and 10s, I mean 10s are gosh, I don't know if they exist, but like let's say just high 7s to 9s, that's crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So and I have to leave room from the crazy to the decent, right?
Yeah.
So like you got to leave a gap there. So to me 5.5 is, you know, that's where I'm at. So if we meet somewhere around what 5.9?
Yeah.
5.9?
I think that
Yeah.
sounds good. Yeah, 5.9.
Yeah,
Yep.
below 6. I think that feels good.
Okay.
Score it up.
5.9 official.
All right, so we're going to move into a little bit of territory. This is going to be mainly Quinn and I bouncing off each other.
Yep.
Ash is going to be privy to the conversation. And there actually may be parts where you can hop in and say stuff. Because, I mean, to me, this show is so confusing. Really, what I like to do in this segment is listen to Quinn talk about it. And I'm like, yes, I totally agree with you. That's what I was thinking. And it's not entirely true. 'Cause I don't know what's going on. But Quinn, so with that, what you got for me for Go-Go, brother?
Go-Go Loser Ranger. Well, so we finally we started off, this episode was started off at the end of day 1 of the exams, right after they had finished. And we get to see a brief image where we find out her name, but I want to say it yet until we get a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But the one of the nefarious army that has been the nefarious monster army that has been down on Earth, that's been hiding in Fighter D's closet the entire time, while he's like sitting there talking to his teammate, trying to figure out how they can strategize for the next day. He sees her run by and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go," because he's worried that she's gonna get caught. And then what we see is she goes down to the basement and she's like tapping what sounds like Morse code onto the pipe, and Fighter D comes up and taps her on the shoulder and says, "You can't be down here," and then basically throws her back in the closet in his room.
Yeah.
Says you need to hide. But after that, we go to to day. Well, not even just day 2. We go to him and Shion, the White Ranger.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Shion yet.
Well, he's the white-haired. Well,
white-haired.
Guy, but they're for the Reds. They're for the red team, right?
So him and Shion were paired up against the red team that they had to fight in the exam.
Okay.
Yeah. What they did, so him and Shion, Shion called him into a private meeting to talk to him about like his motivations, to try and figure out like where he's going, what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it seems that he decided he no longer wanted to be a partner with him, because after that, all the strongest people on the paired up teams decided to form their own team and take all the keys in the exam.
They're essentially in a exam right now to get into the respective Ranger academies.
Okay.
So they're all in some neutral. It's like a free agent academy. It's the White Dragon something whatever, the nest, dragon nest, and they're all trying to get into these different, sections of the Dragon Keepers.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what's going on, and it's been 2 days of this test of them trying to get keys from these different people. One thing that stood out to me this episode, and this might be jumping forward a little bit, is Suzukiri is fully aware.
Oh yeah.
Of Fighter D.
Yep. That does come a little bit later, but yes, my theory of Suzukiri being absolutely aware
That's true.
Of Fighter D taking on the personality of Tsukurama.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So she knows that. Do we want to? Was the whole boss thing? Was it a little before that?
So
I guess it really doesn't matter. We can just kind of...
Yeah, so we'll bounce around a little bit. So while the second day exam is going on and the two teams are forming, you got the strongest versus the weakest who basically got kicked from their pairs. While that's happening, you have the monster boss, one of the bosses, show up, who has been called God, but apparently his name is, let's see, I have it here, Peltrola?
Yes.
Peltrola.
But they call him God.
But he, he's been called God, or he likes to try and get people to call him God.
It could be a self-proclaimed.
Right before he shows up, the girl who we find out as he shows up, her name is XX, which may be 20 or something like that. I'm not sure. But her name is XX. She's hiding in the closet. The maintenance guy that we see in in one of the previous episodes, the Blue Ranger, comes in, tries to fix Tsukurama's door, and then notices the girl. And he is actually going to let her go, which I thought was surprising.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to kill her, he was like, I actually don't want to kill you. I was like, I'd like to let you go. I'd like us both
Like that's why he works in maintenance. He doesn't want to fight.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
It was kind of cool to see that there's more than just Tsukurama who wants to see monsters and humans be able to coexist until Petrola shows up,
blasts him to high heaven,
just murders him.
Yes.
Yeah. Shoots him dead.
Yes.
And that's when we learn her name, because she seems absolutely terrified that he's the one that showed up.
Yeah.
Just petrified.
Yeah, he kind of had this aura about him that he's like doing the right thing too. Like he
thinks he is
saving the world or something.
He thinks he is.
We don't know, man. Because like the keepers don't seem good. These monster bosses don't seem good. Who's good? Who's good in the show?
Hopefully our man Fighter D.
I don't know, man. Fighter D seems like he ain't good either.
No, to be honest, his answer during exam 2 when Suzukiri was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give you like what is your goal in the end?" And he was like, "World domination."
Yeah.
I mean, I do like how they give you like lesser of two evils to kind of root for. You know what I mean?
Yes. Morally gray.
To be honest, this entire show has not shown me a single person that I would consider good so far, except
I think our guy, our green eye,
Tsukurama.
Yeah, I think he's our good boy.
Sakurama. Sorry.
Sakurama.
Yeah, Sakurama.
I think he's our good
is
boy.
Currently not even in.
He's not here right now.
Yeah, he's not here right now.
He wasn't in the last 2 episodes, or the last episode at least.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
He's AFK.
He's the only one who actually seems genuinely like a good person. Who actually wants the.
Which what Oh my god. What if he's the worst? Wouldn't that be some shit?
That would be
crazy.
a twist, and that would be a twist that I would kind of expect from the show at this point.
That 100%. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I want to keep seeing where the show's going. I don't have much to say unless you have some other notes. I don't have anything to say about it except to rate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would just say I don't know. The way this episode left off was probably better than the other ones yet so far for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because at the end, basically, the team that formed got all the keys.
Yeah.
From my understanding, they got all the keys. They finished it in the second exam. So our main character failed the exam.
Yeah.
But then as soon as that happened, it switched, and you see XX and what's his name?
We'll just call him God.
Yeah, God, or Peltrola, which is what his name is. Basically just roaming through the White Ranger base, killing people.
That's right. I told you, I relive these episodes as we review. Like, holy shit, that did happen.
And so, like, the next episode, we're going to find out what's going to happen with Peltrola just roaming the base that they're in, killing people.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe My Hero and Demon Slayer and Go-Go are setting us up for some cool shit.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Kaiju's on a roll, but
I mean, we already know how we feel about what's going to happen with Demon Slayer.
Yeah, true.
But My Hero, I know it's setting us up for. I know this episode was definitely slower and not one of my favorites, but I know this season's going to be just.
Oh, it has to be.
I will. I'll go first.
Yeah, score.
I'm gonna just solid 6.0.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Kind of straight down. Ash, what you got, brother?
I'd say around the same.
You can't rate it because you didn't see it.
But based off our review of it,
I would say around the same. I mean, I kind of understand, what you guys are talking about.
How many episodes have you seen?
I'm only like 2 episodes behind.
Okay.
So I kind of understand
So
what
how
you're
about this
talking
so
about.
far with the show, like 1 through 10, like out of everything so far?
Yeah, how about this? Yeah, give a score of what you think of the show overall so far from what you've seen.
I think I would probably give it like a 7.3, 7.4.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels good.
Yeah.
I do like it a lot. I think it has like The Boys type of feel to it. I mean, like I said, it's like you're
That's why
rooting
I like
for
it so much.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
It's like who's good, who's bad.
But that's what I'm expecting is more chaos. That I love the boys element to it.
Yeah.
That's what I
For
want.
sure.
Who we're missing on the scene on the screen. Red Keeper.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need more of my guy out here causing
Mr.
horrendous
Homelander himself.
things to happen. Yeah.
Well, for this episode, I actually think I'm going to meet you even.
6.0?
6.0.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a decent episode. I don't think it was my favorite episode of the season, but it was good, and it's pushing us forward.
Yeah, it is pushing us forward.
We got more lore drop. We got more information. And we finally learned the name of that guy that has been kind of hinted at for like the past.
Yeah, I think we saw him in like an end credit scene of a very early on episode, and we were like, "What the fuck?"
And
is
then you
happening?
see him in Sakurama's flashback.
Yeah,
and then you see
that's
him,
right.
Yep,
that's right.
Because he's the reason why Sakurama's sister is crippled.
Yeah, and that's one of the story elements I'm looking forward to most. Figuring out what transpired there to go from that to Pink Keeper.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's it for our reviews. That was solid.
So we'll say 6.0 Hop Score official.
Yeah. Gosh, this was a solid weekend.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun.
Yep. It was super fun.
Same.
I don't think we have anything else to talk about tonight, to be honest. I think we're just going to do the reviews unless you got anything else you guys want to hit.
I would say like final notes. I feel like the soundtrack for the weekend has got to be the Bring Me album, the new one.
Yeah, the Bring Me the Horizon album.
It has to be.
It was good. Yeah, it was
so good.
I blasted those songs all throughout the weekend. So be something like, months from now, you'll look back and be like, oh yeah, you'll hear the song. Remember this weekend kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we got some really cool shit. And we have a lot of footage from the weekend, a lot of interviews we did with people that we're going to be clipping up and posting on our Instagram. So look forward to all that.
Yep, that our wonderful friend Ash help us gather and put together, and will help us put out. That so just look out for the videos, and we'll put some stuff up on our Instagram, our Spotify, our YouTube, and everything. We'll keep you guys updated on all of that. So
yeah, that is it from us. See you guys on the other side. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Hidden Online podcast. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe, comment, and like this video for more. You can also find us on Spotify and Instagram at Hidden Online Podcast.